All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, double honors to apostles of great millstone, and salutations to your elect, which you ought to be. Now, it's your brother Hawaii from GMS Chicago. Got a quick little lesson for you Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and Israelites who better shame but looking like heathens, whose spirit bear witness that they are a child of the Heavenly Father. And the name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, who the world English calls Jehovah God. And the name of the Heavenly Son is Yahweh Shai, who the world English calls Jesus Christ or Jesus Christo, so Yeshua, Yeshaya, Yahweh. And, pretty much this lesson is going into the fact that hey, some of us brothers, our lots are to be casted out into prison. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna have people that's gonna set us up. A lot of people that's gonna be envious of us, jealous of us. Or just altogether just hate us and want to see us in bad cases. Not knowing what their end gonna be. And I want to start with Genesis chapter 39, verse 1. It says, "And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Joseph was Ephraim, and Potiphar, and an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian." It says, bought him of the hands of the Salakia. All right, so look, I'm gonna skip to verse 5. It says, "And it came to pass for the time that he had made him overseer in his house and over all that he had, that Yahweh blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake, and the blessing of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house and in the field." Right? Verse 6, it says, and that was Pharaoh who did that, made him second in command. Verse 6, it says, "And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew not all he had, save the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person and well favored." It says, and it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, "Lie with me." So Pharaoh's the king of Egypt, because Pharaoh's the ruler. His wife was lusting at the Joseph, man. She wanted him to have sex with her. Verse 8, it says, "But he refused and said unto his master's wife, Behold, my master wotteth not what is with me in the house." And wotteth means to think. Wot, to think. It says, "And he have committed all that he have to my hand." So he it's like his girl is like, come she asking Joseph to pipe her down, to commit adultery. And Joseph pretty much like, my master, which is Pharaoh, he already appointed me to certain things, and not only to you. You're not one of the things that I need to be occupied with. Verse 9, it says, "There is none greater in this house than I." It says, "Neither have he kept back anything from me but thee." So Joseph was able to do whatever that he pleased, underneath Pharaoh, and but not his wife. And the scripture also says that there are, I believe it says four things that I do not know, and one of them is how a man is with his maid, meaning with his girl. And Joseph wasn't going to commit adultery because he would have been going. It's going to say it. It says, verse 9 again. It says, "There is none greater in this house than I." It says, "Neither have he kept back anything from me but thee, because thou art his wife." how then can I do this great wickedness and sin against the Most High? You know, so it's still adultery. You know, because we know the law. We understand that the heathens ain't underneath the law. You know, or that the law wasn't given onto them. You know, but the thing is that when it comes down to the Israelite, you know, for all you jakes out there, be like, well, the heathens are not underneath the law, so I can get to pop his girl. It's like, no, you can't, because you know what adultery is, and you'll be committing that action. You know, so guess what? You'll be sinning against your own soul, meaning that you can't have sex with heathen men's wives. You can't do it. Even if they throw it at you, say liking on you and stuff, you know, if she got a man and it's a heathen, you still can't deal. You know, you know. Verse 10, it says, and it came to pass as she spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her to lie by her or to be with her. You know, so hey, she was like thirsty, man. You know, she wanted Joseph so bad. You know, she was going day by day trying to get him, and what he was doing, curving her. You know, pushing it off, avoiding her. Right? It says, verse 10, it says, and it came to pass as she spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her to lie by her or to be with her. So he already knew what she was on, you know, so he was avoiding her. It says, and it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the men of the house there within. It says, and she caught him by his garment, saying, lie with me, meaning to have sex. It says, and he left his garment in her hand and fled and got him out. So you know when a woman try to corner you and stuff, and she just too thirsty, you know what I'm saying, and what, she got you by your coat and whatnot, you kind of just like slide out the coat, you know, just to get away from her. That's what Joseph did, right? Verse 13, it says, and it came to pass when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand and was fled forth, that she called unto the men of her house, meaning the guards, and spake unto them, saying, see, he had brought in a Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came in unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice. You know, so she just lied on Joseph. Joseph been curving her all this time, you know. So then what she do? She tried to she was persuaded to mess him up. You know, it's like when you at the workplace, right? And you got some woman and stuff. You know, she trying to throw it at you. You know what I'm saying? And you're not interested, right? And then, you know, you find out, because, you know, every job they got a Jake, you know, they talking there. It's like the hood, you know, it's gossip. Everybody is in somebody's business, so know a little bit about somebody, right? So when you curve the girl and stuff, what does she do? She can't get your attention. You know, you're not chasing her just like every other man and whatnot. So what does she do? She try to mess your name up. You know, she go around telling lies about you. And this is what she did, you know. Just to bring it out. This is Sirach or Ecclesiasticus in Apocrypha, chapter 25. Let me see. This is Sirach 25 and 13. It says, give me any plague. It says, but the plague of the heart, you know, like disease, you know, uh, uh, very excessive doubt, that could be one. Uh, Always overly excessively afflicting yourself and your counsel, you know, uh, uh, being weak to demons. You can say that as well. You know, it says in or because a plague could be a disease as well, which or a disorder or condition. You know, where like people got epilepsy or Alzheimer's. You know, something like that. It says, give me any plague but the plague of the heart. It says any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman. You know, I'm gonna skip to verse 16. It says, "I had rather dwell with a lion and a dragon, animals that's able to kill." It says, than to keep house with a wicked woman. You know, it says, verse 17. It says, "The wickedness of a woman changing her face and darken her countenance like sackcloth." And you know when a woman is dark, you can see it in her face. She's like if somebody like say if they showing you in the cartoons and stuff like uh when the woman is like being on some sneaky stuff, they show how like the top part of their face is dark and they smiling and stuff, like they trying to hide or it's just that they got a dark countenance, like their face is evil, like she's up to something like that, you know, disfiguring her face and you can see it. Verse 18 it says, no, it's like it. Verse 19 it says, all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. So when it came down to Joseph, she couldn't get what she wanted and stuff. So what did she do? She was like, here it is. She got the king of all of Egypt. You know what I'm saying? And she over here trying to mess with Joseph, that second in command. You know, and she lied on him. Because he was nothing to her. It says all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. So hey, she was wickedness. One of the main things that women do that's wicked and stuff is lie, because it ain't nothing for them. It's just regular day life, man. Um, Going back to Genesis 39 and 12, it says, "And she called him," meaning Joseph again, by his garment, saying, "Lie with me." And he left his garment in her hand and fled and got him out. It says, "And it came to pass, when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand and was fled forth, that she called unto the men of her house and spake unto them, saying, See, he hath brought in a Hebrew unto us to mock us. It says, He came in unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice." And the scriptures also says that in Ecclesiastes 12, it says to know the whole matter. You know. It says verse 18, verse 15. It says, "And it came to pass, when he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled and got him out." So she was mad because she couldn't get away, so therefore she lied on him. You know, you know. Women do this all the time. Especially if like say if you at a job and stuff, and a woman is like your manager and whatnot, she'll be a complete ass to you. Try to mess with you and whatnot. And when she don't get her way, or say if you like pretty much like throw back what she said, what she told you to do in her face, where it's like she got the stupid face where it's like she can't combat against it or make you feel some type of way. What she do, she try to mess you up. Fucking boy. It says verse 16, it says, and she laid up his garment by her until his Lord came home. So not only did she lie to the men, but now she waited all this time, to manipulate her husband, just so it could seem like that Joseph was trying to deal with her. Verse 17, it says, "And she spake unto him according to these words, saying, The Hebrew servant which thou hast brought unto us came in unto me to mock me." It says, "And it came to pass, as I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled out." It says, "And it came to pass, when his master heard the words of his wife, which she spake unto him, saying, After this manner did thy servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. And it tells you that also in Sirach, the ninth chapter. What I'm saying, to not like lay up with a woman, another man's woman and stuff. Especially not at the wine or anything. And because the love of a woman can kindle the fire, and that's what happened when it came down to Pharaoh. Pharaoh ain't try to talk to Joseph about what happened and what was going down and stuff. Because guess I believe so. It's like it. He ain't try to see the whole matter and stuff, and you see that a lot in our people and stuff. They just take with the one sided story, which why we all the men of the Lord we know that when Esau come with this strong evidence, what I'm saying. Well, it's like not strong evidence, but slip of the tongue, but not in knowledge. When Esau comes with these strong when Esau comes with strong fake evidence, I'll say that our people are just gonna go with it. Like how the wicked Pharisees and Sadducees was able to move the people to the direction towards crucifying Yahweh Shai. They was one sided. They didn't want to hear the other side. They didn't want to do no critical thinking. So it says and that's what Pharaoh did. He ain't try to talk to Joseph. He was just on some, oh, my wife is right, when really she was wicked and she was lying on him. Verse 20, it says, and Joseph's master took him, it says, and put him into prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound, and he was there in prison, right? So he was incarcerated. It says, but the Lord Yahweh was with Joseph and shewed him mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. Like pretty much the guardman, who got the keys to your jail cell, right? It says, verse 22, it says, and the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison, and whatsoever they did, there he was the doer of it. So pretty much Joseph was like he kept the prisoners in order. It says, verse 23, it says, the keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was under his hand, because the Lord Yahweh was with him, and that which he did, the Lord made it to prosper. So hey, when it comes down to certain men of the Lord, if our lots is to be put in prison, hey, I believe it was so like the Lord can be with you. You know what I'm saying? You can probably can't get in touch with nobody and stuff. Phone numbers change. Rotten family members that's like, yes, he's gone, or yes, she's gone, or whatever and stuff, and then you can't get no commissary. You can't get no commissary or nothing and stuff, and it's like, oh man, I'm messed up, but then the prisoners that do got a little help from the outside and stuff, they help you out with a little food. They won't steal no snacks off your tray. They'll look out for you and stuff. That's how you could be prosperous, or even have it where you cool with the guardsmen, man. Like how they show you in the movies, even though it's going off, where certain prisons where it's like you can't get no cigarettes or whatnot. They banned it. But then you can cool with the guard and stuff, and guard slip you a cigarette and stuff for you to smoke. Just going by how they do it in the movies, because it's completely unlawful to smoke cigarettes, period, according to the Lord, or smoke weed, or smoke black and mouse, or smoke anything in that fashion, But just to throw out an example, this is Daniel chapter 6, starting in verse 1. It says, and it pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes which should be over the whole kingdom. It says in over it says in over these three presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage. So this also shows that you could be a Jake that follow Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and you in a you're in a good paying job. Now, when it comes down to your Lil Waynes and your LeBron James and these millionaires and billionaires and whatnot, in order for them to continue making a certain amount of money, or these people in Hollywood and stuff, to make the money that they have, they got to do profane things that's outside of the temple, because other than that, you ain't gonna have that same position, but there are jobs where you could get paid decent amount. You could be making like a high middle class, or who's to say make it even higher than that, because look at Job. Job was rich. Look at Abraham and Lot, they was rich. Jakes though, and straight up Israelites, man. And they had money, so there could be some Jakes that could have high paying jobs, man. And they still following Yahweh Shem Yahushai and stuff, and being considered and favor and well favored in the eyes of the Lord. Because it's a balance. It's gonna be Jakes that got money. It's gonna be Jakes who don't really get money like that, man, or got no money at all. Just to put that out there. Verse 3, it says, then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes, because an excellent spirit was in him, showing that the Lord was with him, and put him above everybody else. It says, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm, and same thing happened to Joseph. He was controlling all the when it come down to the food and the finances and stuff, when it came down to Egypt, so he was second command to deal with all these things, right? So Daniel is pretty much in the same stead, right? It says, verse 4, it says, then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom. They got jealous, man. It says, but because find occasion, man, they was trying to find a fault against him. It says, but they could find none occasion nor fault, for as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him, because he was doing his job. He wasn't sitting up there like, yeah, I got the whole realm. I got power. I could do whatever I want to and stuff. I could do this and get away. He wasn't about that. He was doing his job. Verse 5, it says, then said these men, we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel. It said, except we find it against him concerning the law of his power. So they was like, oh, we got to find a way to get him. We got to mess him up. That's what Esau does. He implants Esau, even the so-called Caucasians. He implants pride within our people, because he knows, well, the Rothschilds, the Gettys, the DuPonts, the Oppenheimers, rich banking families and stuff. What do? They set up certain things to entice Jake, so they can separate themselves from the Lord. Why they thinking they close when really they not. So they can have an advantage. And this is what these presidents and princes was on. They was like, we got to mess him up with his Lord. And it tell you that in Judith, the 5th chapter, to just grab it right quick. It tells you this in Judith, in the Apocrypha, chapter 5, verse 17. It says, and whilst they sin not before their power. Actually, let me start here. Okay, verse 17, it says, and whilst they sin not before their power, they prospered. It says, because the Most High that hateth iniquity was with them. So hey, Daniel was making sure he was on point. Joseph was making sure he was on point, and it showed you that where Joseph had said that should I commit this crime, pretty much commit this crime against the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with adultery, because he like, I ain't finna do this because I know that is something wrong, right? Um, in the same way with Daniel, he was following the law, statute, commandments. He was doing his job. He wasn't abusing his authority that he had within this kingdom. Verse 18, it says, "But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs, and the temple of their power was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by their enemies." I'm skip to verse 20. It says, "Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error against his people," meaning Israelites, it says, "and they sin against their power, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them." So hey, they was trying to find some type of way to get Daniel to go off, because then he wouldn't be in good stead, and the Lord was going to punish him. And the punishment they was looking for was that he was going to be casted from the power that he was granted, man. Within this kingdom, right? Verse 6. Well, and then at the same time, our people do the same thing. They try to set up certain situations and stuff just so they could be like, "Oh, look, see, you did this. You're not righteous. You're not this," because they really want to find some type of way to justify that the ways that's not according to the Bible are okay to do. You know, like you'll, for another example, you'll have a Jake. There, it'll be a Jake, and it'll be one girl, it'll be a girl or stuff, she'll be some female and stuff at the job, and she'll look all good, got the nice body and stuff, probably throw it at you and stuff, but you ain't taking it and stuff, and then you got another Jake that come around and be like, "Man, boys, you better get that and stuff, you hit it and stuff, or you got a lot of Jakes out here who don't understand the scripture where it says that if you look upon a woman, you committed adultery already. And it's like, but you got to see a woman everywhere you go. You know what I'm saying? So you saying that you commit adultery already? It's like, no, that's not what it means. What it means is that if you look upon that woman and she got a man, and you think about doing stuff to her, with like having sex with her and whatnot, then that's when you committed adultery. You know, and it's one thing from not knowing versus knowing. So if a Jake knows that a woman got a man, and he thinks about doing sexual things to her and stuff, and Satan will bring that into your mind, and if you don't cast away and you enjoy it and stuff, you know what I'm saying, then you going off willfully, man. But if not, if you don't know and stuff, you know what I'm saying, you still going off, but it's accidental because you don't know, So if you a Jake, you see it, it's like, I don't want to deal with this woman and whatnot. I know she got a man, whoop the whoop. You're going to have another Jake who's down for adultery that's trying to get you to get it and stuff. And his sole mission is to try to get you to agree, just so they could be like, "Oh, well, then I could do this, so I could do that, Where was that? Verse 6. It says, "Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king, and said thus unto him, King Darius, live forever." Oh, and just to bring this out too, women would do that. A woman would sit up here and say that she don't got a man, and know that she got a man and stuff, and know what you about. So say if you actually do get to hit or be able to do something and stuff with her, she gonna be like, "Oh, I got a man. How can you be righteous and you supposed to be a man of the Lord and stuff? And I got a whole man." It's like, well, you ain't even tell me, because you already know. If you would have told me, I would have told you nah. So watch out for that too, man. Because once again, wickedness is little bit. Well, wickedness of a woman is wickedness is but little to a woman, man. what he don't know won't hurt him. She'll get caught up in a moment and want to do it, and then backlash on you and stuff to try to make you feel guilty. You know. So just check that. Watch out. Like the elder Uriah said, vet these women as well. You know. You know. Uh, Back in verse 6, it says, then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said thus unto him, King Darius, live forever. It says, so he was bigging his head up. Verse 7, it says, all the presidents of the kingdom, the governors and the princes and the counselors and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute. You know, so see, they man, you had everybody coming against Daniel, man. You know, everybody in authority. It says, and to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask a petition of any power or man for 30 days, say of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. So they was trying to find the law, you know what I'm saying, where it was gonna go against Daniel. So Daniel will be considered someone that's going off according to the king, so he could be punished. They were setting him up. It says, now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing that it be not changed according to the law of the Medes. It says in Persians, which alter not. It says, wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Now, when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being open in his chamber toward Jerusalem. It says he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day. So he was praying 3 times a day, you know. It says and prayed, because like when you kneel, you know, you're bow. I can't even say the word. You're bowing down, you know. You're giving reverence to the one that's before you, you know. You know. And it don't mean that, you know, if you want to move and whatnot and stuff, and you're on your way to work and or you're about to go do something, you outside, you got some business to attend to and stuff, it doesn't mean that you can't pray because you can't find a place to get on your knees and face the east. You know, it just means or shoot, if you real far west and whatnot and stuff, you could face Jerusalem. That's pretty much all it is. You know. Like if you in China or something, you know, and you know, you over there and stuff, you know, you'll face Jerusalem. You know what I'm saying? So with America being in the Western Hemisphere and stuff, you'll face the East. You know, if you in California and stuff, if you want to face the West, and your mind frame is towards Jerusalem, go ahead and do so. You know, and usually when you do this is when you in the comfortability of your home. Sometimes you might have situations where you need to hurry up and get going and stuff, and you can still pray. Men pray with their with no covering over their head, you know, and women will pray with their head covered, you know. Verse 10 again, it says, now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being open in his chamber toward Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his power, Yahweh Shem Yahshai, as he did aforetime. So this is what he was doing always. Verse 11, it says, then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his power. That word supplication is Hanan, the Chadananana, which means to show favor, to entreat, shew mercy, make supplication. Supplication means to beg. So when it comes down to a prayer, what are you doing? You asking, you begging the Lord. You know what I'm saying? You know, because you ain't finna just ask the Lord one time to have mercy upon your soul. You gonna do that countless of times, which means you begging for him to do it. It says verse 12, it says, then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree, which they had set up. It says, hast thou not signed a decree that every man that shall ask a petition of any power or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions. So they knew that Daniel was praying to Yahweh Shem Shai, and they had convinced the king to to make a decree or a law, you know, that within 30 days and stuff, uh, uh, it says that every man that shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save for thee, save means like accept for the old king, shall be cast in the den. So it's like, oh, we know that he gonna be praying and stuff. As soon as we catch him and whatnot, we gonna tell the king, because he ain't doing it to the king. That's reminding him about the law that we got him to sign and stuff, to cast Daniel into the den of lions and stuff. And why? Because he was made ruler over the realm, you know. So they envied him and wanted him dead, just like Yahweh Shai. Just like it says in John 15 and 20, that no servant is greater than his Lord. Man, let me grab it right quick. I don't want to be too long with this. This is John 15 and 20. It says, remember, remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they had persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they had kept my saying, they will keep yours also. So they was envious. The wicked Pharisees and Sadducees was wicked of Yahweh Shai and sought for him to be dead. You know, and moved the people to further on the crucifixion of him. You know, and it was the same way with Daniel, and it was the same way with it was the same way with Daniel, man. You know. Setting them up because of the envy that they had, because of the power that he had, the power that he was able to wield and stuff that was granted to him. It says, verse 12 again, it says, then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man that shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, the thing is true according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which altereth not. It says, then answered they and said before the king, that Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity of Judah, it says, regardeth not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but maketh his petition 3 times a day. So they was like, oh, he prayed 3 times and stuff, but he don't come to you to ask to make sure it's okay. He's not coming to you and making petition, but he's making petition to his power. And they knew that. It says verse 14. It says, then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased with himself, and set his heart on Daniel. It says to deliver him, and he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. It says, then these 3 men assembled unto the king and said unto the king, know, O king, that the law of the Medes and the Persians is that no decree nor statute which the king established may be changed. So they really had it in for him. It's the same way with these niggas. Because the one thing that a woman is that a woman is attracted to is power. In whatever way that it comes. So if you got a Jay that's making decent money and stuff, what a nigga's gonna do? They're gonna try to mess that money up, just so they can get the attention from the women. Or if cause when you have money, what I'm saying, it's some sort of power. Or if you got muscle and stuff, it brings some sort of power that the woman's attracted to. If you got the spirit of the Lord on you and stuff, what I'm saying, seeing it all the time. When you have the spirit of the Lord on you and stuff, women are attracted to it and stuff. And or if you they show it in the movies and the cartoons, you got the guy who's not really all in a woman's ass, what I'm saying, sniffing around and stuff like a dog and stuff. A woman is like, oh, well, he's not the same way as every other guy and stuff. So they're interested in the guy because he's a mystery, you know. And they want to find out about him and stuff, you know. Or it's something that he, or just different attractions, you know what I'm saying, when it comes down to the power and stuff, you know. And a regular nigga out here in the streets, a regular 2/3 and stuff, who ain't trying to be righteous and whatnot, more than likely, what are they going to do? They're going to try to mess that up, you know, so they can wield the power and whatnot, you know. Um, so verse 16, you know, it says, then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, thy power whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. It says, and a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den. It says, and the king sealed it with his own signet and with the signet of his lords, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. So they was these jealous ass niggas, man. You know, they want him dead for something he ain't asked for, but the Lord had granted him. You know. It says, verse 18, it says, then the king went to his palace and passed the night fasting. It says, neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. You know, so he for the foolishness that he did, for not inquiring of why this would be the reason of this, that, and the third. You know, the Lord was jacking him up. Verse 19, it says, then the king arose very early in the morning and went in haste unto the den of lions. It says, and when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel, you know, because he recognized that he did something bad, you know. That's why his sleep was taken away from him, you know. It says, and the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living power, is thy power whom thou servest continually able to deliver thee from the lions? It says, then said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. It says, my power has sent his angel and has shut the lion's mouth. You know, because when you read further on, or further before, it says that they didn't feed the lions for 2 days, so they can be that much more hungry to devour Daniel, man. You know, and what else happened? You had Habakkuk. You know what I'm saying? The prophet Habakkuk, and the angel, the Lord that came to him and said, you know, go to Babylon and feed the prophet Daniel. And Habakkuk was like, I don't even know where Babylon is, nor what direction to go to even go to this place. And the angel took him by his head, which took him by his head and stuff, by his crown, meaning that he brought him up, you know, meaning he got beamed up, and you know, in the chariot had brought him to the lion's den. And Habakkuk called out to Daniel and gave him food, man. You know, and when Daniels was in this jail cell, in this prison, in this pit with these hungry lions and whatnot, the Lord was with him. You know, it says my power has sent his angel and has shut the lions' mouths, back in verse 22, that they have not hurt me, for as much as before him innocency was found in me, because he ain't do nothing. You know, it was the other ones that was envious of him that caused this to happen. You know, and how the Lord had it was that he played the king, knowing that the king was going to recognize it's like, oh, I shouldn't have done this, just so he could be at peace again. It says, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. You know, verse 23, it says, then was the king exceedingly glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So if the Lord, if the king wasn't when inquiring for why this was being brought up and what it would be used for, right? when it came down to this decree that the envious and the wicked was bringing upon Daniel, or its reason was based off because of what they wanted to do to Daniel and stuff because of their envy. You know, when he got punished where he got punished where he couldn't get no sleep. You know, just imagine if what would the punishment be for him? You know, uh, uh, if Daniel would have died, if he would have got devoured, you know, he would have got jacked up even more. You know, and a lot of our people don't see it far off because, like it says in Second Ezra 5:8, it says that in Apocrypha it says that mistress women shall bring forth monsters. A lot of our people are monsters. 2/3 of our people are monsters, man. You know, because they don't care. They don't care for nothing. You know, it takes for them to get hurt to recognize what they have done instead of be like, you know what, let me think upon this first before I do it. You know, they're impulsive. They do before they think. You know, and it says, or and then also keep within that mind frame. You know, it says, verse 23 again. It says, then was the king exceedingly glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in the Most High. It says, and the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel. That word accused is the word cause. Let me see. Let me go to the second one. It's the word. It's the word karatazah. It's the quad, the ra, and the taza. It says denounce, slander, accuse, maliciously, chew. Okay, I understand now why they said that. It says a bit. It says to eat the morsels of anyone, that is, chew him up by slander, accuse. So when you devour some food and stuff, you know, you getting rid of it, you know, where it's no longer there on your plate. And this is what the envious counselors and governors and princes and presidents, this is what they was trying to do. They was trying to get rid of Daniel, you know, so they had got the king to make up a law, you know what I'm saying, because they knew what Daniel was about. He was about the scriptures. He was about Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and they found a way where since he's so dedicated and stuff, we gonna use that just to set him up so we can get him killed. You know, it says verse 24 again. It says, and the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions. It says them, their children and their wives. It says, and the lions had the mastery of them. It says, and break all their bones in pieces, or ever they came at the bottom of the den. So because of their actions, their entire families got killed. You know, and that's what's gonna happen to some of us. You know, I'll close out with this. This is John 15 and 18. It says, if the world hate you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. We come in the stead of Yahushua. We like it says in Isaiah 50:81, cry aloud, spare not, lift out thy voice like a trumpet, and shew my people their transgressions, and Jacob their sins. You know, we're letting know, Jake, that hey, the way that you have lived, the Christianity that you have been brought up from a child is wrong. Any religion that you in and stuff, and you're a Jake, you're an Israelite and stuff, and you part of some religion, you know what I'm saying, you actually bound, you're not free. You know, this truth will set you free. You know, you need to come out the way of America, because it's a death style, not a lifestyle, and the lifestyle is of the Bible. You know, and that we are gods, and you need to act in a godly manner, man. Which this world would not bring. And when we tell them this and stuff, they hate what we say. They don't like that we tell them that the way that they want to continue to live is not approved of the Lord. Verse 19, it says, if ye were of the world would love his own. So if we was about smoking, committing adultery, running trains on women, training women how to go, when I say train women how to go, I mean, you raise them up to be thoughts, you know, uh, uh, to set folly in great dignity, like it says in Ecclesiastes 10:6. If we was about that, everybody would love us. Smoking weed, squares, black and mouths, you know, eating abominable things, pork, shrimp, lobster, catfish, calamari. You know, calamari is fish eggs and stuff, but you're not supposed to eat anything when it's still young. You know, uh, uh, um, you know, insects. Um, with immediate family, whatever and stuff. We tell them that you can't bestiality, you can't do the cucumber challenge and stuff because that'll be considered ecosexuality. You can't have sex with children. You can't have sex with animals and stuff. You can't have sex with dead people. And people that's actually for Jakes that's actually into those things and stuff, eating raw meat, bloody meat. Being a homosexual, lesbian and stuff, bisexual. When we tell Jake that they can't do that and stuff, they hate us. Well, if we tell them that, I mean, if we was about that and stuff, they would listen to what we got to say. We'll get majority of our people, right? It says, but because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world to teach this word, therefore the world hateth you. And they hated Yahweh first because they was doing the same thing. You had the wicked Pharisees and Sadducees and stuff, and they was of the circumcision. They knew the law, but for the fact that Yahweh was still in their thunder, for the power and the glory that the Lord was giving unto Yahweh, they wanted to put him to death. Our people going to do the same thing. So I hope this video was edifying. I'd like to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachakodash, double honors to apostles, a great millstone, and salutations to elect, which we hope to be. Shalom and a Abba Ball.